Hello, hello. I am excited to be here. You are a snappy group. I could tell as you were coming in that you have a lot of energy, you have a lot of confidence, and I know that you are all trying to master change because you are in the real estate industry. And there has been a lot of change with our economy. How many of you set a New Year's resolution? Okay, good. 45 to 50% of the adults in the United States actually set a resolution. Most of them are centered around weight loss, starting an exercise program, trying to stop smoking, and trying to do better at budgeting their personal finances. Now, within the first 2 weeks, which that's about where we are, 71% of those adults are still focused on their resolution. By June, 40%. What do all resolutions have in common? Change. Maybe failure too. We're going to talk about that today. Change. Whether you're trying to quit smoking or be more effective with balancing your personal budget, it's about change. And embracing change can be challenging because there's risk involved. And it's not easy to make change. It throws us out of our comfort zone. But if we understand the psychology behind change, we're going to be much more effective at making change. Oftentimes we choose change, and other times change is thrown at us. We can't always control what is coming to us through change, but we always have control over the way we react.
What I enjoyed the most today about Vikki's seminar is I felt empowered. I felt like I can create change in my life, that I have the control and the ability to make and create whatever I want in my life. It felt amazing.
There's a big difference to me between joy and happiness. Happiness is event-related. It's being here today. You're with great people, good food, neat place, you feel happy, but once you leave, those feelings will subside. I'm talking about sustained inner peace. That's joy. When you have clarity about who you are and where your life is going, and you truly understand your worth and what defines you. You live your truth. Have you ever thought about your self-definition? If I were to ask you randomly, how do you define yourself? What would you say? If you are feeling a lack of inner peace and direction, first of all, look at your self-definition, and then at the direction your life is moving. And are those two compatible? Because if they're not, you will lack joy and clarity. Let me share a personal experience with you. My husband and I were married close to 12 years before we were finally able to have our first child. And so in that 12 years of a lot of miscarriages and it was a tough time, we built our careers. He worked for Johnson & Johnson, and I owned a fashion production company, and I produced fashion events across the United States. And so we did a lot of traveling. And when we finally had Corbett, it was a joyful day. We were thrilled. We both wanted a child very badly. But we were also very involved in our careers and lots of commitments. And so we felt the best thing would be to hire a live-in, a full-time nanny, which we did, and Sarah was wonderful. And one day, I came home after being gone 3 or 4 days producing a show, and I was in the foyer of our Austin home going through some mail, and I heard Corbett and Sarah in the back of the house. He was probably about 2, and I heard him say, "Mommy." And I thought, oh, he knows I'm home, and I was waiting for him to his little footsteps on the tile floor up to me, and a big hug and a kiss, and that's what you come home for. And within moments, I was paralyzed with the realization that he was calling our nanny, Sarah, Mommy. Now, for me, that was a huge wake-up call, but why wouldn't he? You know, Corbett just thought he had 2 mommies, one that was there during the week and one that popped in on weekends. So I knew that my self-definition was not compatible with the direction my life was moving.
One of the things I enjoyed most about Vikki's seminar was I related to her with her associations, assets, and activities. I, too, was a very business-oriented mother. I didn't get married until my mid-30s and had my children late in life.
So when she started speaking about her career versus the time she spent at home, it struck a chord with me, and I related to that very much.
When it comes to empowerment and change, we need to realize that it's a choice. We choose to change and we choose to empower. And every day we make many choices. Choices come as thoughts and actions. We think it and then we act. Do you know we have close to 3,000 thoughts a day? That's amazing, isn't it? Now, they don't all become action, but with every choice, there's a consequence. The consequence will vary, but there is always a consequence. And we own the choice and we own the consequence.
The thing I enjoyed most and I needed to hear, you can't change it unless you own it.
Do you back away from change because you fear it? The tragedy isn't in the falling down, it's in the staying down. And anytime we try something new, we risk failure. There's growth in failure. This life is a journey. Don't prevent yourself from moving forward because you say, I just can't. I'm afraid. Don't be afraid.
What I enjoyed most about Vikki's seminar today for me personally is she touched on an item that was a little personal, fear. I think I have let fear stand in my way of making the changes that I need to make to empower myself to do what I'm supposed to do.
You have more control over empowering yourself and making change than you realize. Recognize every day it's about deposits. Deposits in yourself and deposits in others. Make sure you're making far more deposits in yourself than you are withdrawals. Take a look at stress in your life. Look at your joy circle. Where are the imbalances? Understand what drives limitations. Do you fear failing? Is it controlling yourself? Lack of control? Lack of taking ownership? What holds you back? You can change all of these things. And be aware of the labels you place on yourself and others. In closing, I want to just leave you with this thought. It's not about learning or waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. Thank you very much for having me.